Hello, I'm Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. This is the first video in making a beginner's sampler quilt. I will take you through all steps from beginning to end. I won't leave you hanging. I'll show you how to do 12 blocks, put a border on it, layer it, top stitch, and put your binding on. I will not leave you hanging, okay? Now, let's take a look at the very first block. This is called the bow tie. It's also referred to as necktie. It's the same thing. Now in this particular block, I'm just using two colors. This is fabric A, and this is fabric A, and this is fabric B. Now in this entire quilt project, I will only be using 3 colors. This is 2 of them so far. I'll show you the third color in just a little while. Now this is a really quick and easy block to make, okay? So let me set this aside and let's go over the cutting instructions, okay? All right. Now there again, this is the Beginner's Sampler Quilt. This one is the bow tie. All of the blocks that I'll demonstrate for you are 12.5 inches squared. All of them are going to be the same size. And you'll need a fabric A. You'll need 2 6.5-inch squares. Also a fabric A, 2 12.5-inch squares. And then fabric B, 2 6.5-inch squares. Throughout the entire project, we'll use 1/4 inch seam, and this is the block layout. Now, if you have your cell phone with you or it's nearby, why don't you grab that, go ahead and put this video on pause, and take a quick little snapshot of this so you'll know what to get at the fabric store. Okay? All right, so let me put this aside. Let's get started. Now, take your 2.5-inch squares of fabric A, and you're going to place your ruler on it, corner to corner, and you're going to draw a line. You can either use a pencil or a fabric marker. Okay, don't use ballpoint ink because it will show through. Okay, so lightly do a pencil line or fabric marker. Do that on both of your 2.5-inch squares. Then a fabric B, take your 2 6.5-inch squares and lay your square in the corner like this. Okay, line it up. Then you're going to stitch. I don't want you to stitch on the pencil line. I want you to stitch right next to it on this side of the square. Okay, right next to it. Okay, let me show you what it looks like. Here it is. Here I've got it stitched on. I used yellow thread. I don't know how well you can see it, but that's how close you want to stitch. Okay? Then after you've done that, go ahead and press this with your iron to flatten it out. Then lift up this part of the square and fold the corner of fabric B under like this. Then take your ruler, put that 1/4 inch line on the seam, the stitch line, okay? And then go ahead and cut the excess off. Do this on both of these blocks right here. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. All right, here we go. Here it is. Okay, you see how it's cut off? The reason why we do this is no one's going to see this, so let's just cut it off and get rid of it because it just makes it kind of bulky in there. All right, it'll be so much easier later on to sew. Now take both of these blocks, lay them out in opposite corners of each other, then take your other 2 blocks of fabric A, or squares I mean, and line them up. Okay? All right, now you can see you've got a bow tie. See how simple that was? All right, now we're gonna stitch each row separately together. So take this block and lay it on top of this square here. Okay, now line it all up and then pin and stitch 1/4 inch on that seam right here. Then go to the next one, fold this one over and line it up real good and pin and stitch here. All right, then go to your ironing board and you're going to press your seams. So have the dark side of your block that you're creating, whatever your fabric is that is the darkest, have it facing up. Then press the back side of these two blocks right here. Then lift up and unfold it and press on the top side here, right on that seam, pushing this seam out and away. Okay, so you're going to do that on both of them, making sure that the seam is pressed in opposite directions. Now take the block, the two blocks, and line it up right like that. See, we're getting really close. Now you'll notice that this seam is going that way and this seam is going that way. All right, it's going in opposite directions. Now fold them together. Okay, line up that seam, and again check to make sure the seams are going in the opposite direction. Get them in real close to each other. It should feel nice and flat there. Go ahead and put a pin there. Always pin your seam first, then finish pinning across. Then go ahead and stitch 1/4 inch along there. Okay, then go back to your ironing board and we're going to do one more final pressing. Press on the front side, then open it up and press on the top side. Okay, so you're making sure that your seam is going in the same direction all the way across. Okay, and then you are done. There's your bow tie block. Now, wasn't that easy? Now, your next block that I'm going to show you in this series is called the anvil. Isn't that beautiful? Now, this is my third color, this kind of turquoise color here. So this is also a really simple block. I know it looks complicated, but it's really not. So I hope you decide to take this project on. I think you're going to learn a lot and you're going to have a lot of fun piecing it together. Okay, well, to keep informed on all my future videos, click on one of my subscribe buttons. There's one down there in the lower left-hand corner. It's red. It says subscribe. You can click on that one anytime throughout the video. Then in the upper left-hand corner towards the end of the video, you'll see my face floating around up there. That's also a subscribe button, so you can click on that one too. When you click on subscribe, YouTube will prompt you for your email address. Enter that information, and the next time I have a new video, YouTube sends you an email with a big button in the center. You click on that and it takes you directly to my latest video. I'm Cheryl. I'm really glad you came to my sewing room. Now I'll see you next time, and happy sewing.